Guys and gals, all right, so another start to another edition of Q&A. Okay, alrighty, so alrighty. Okay, so we'll start off with triple horn. Just recently put in, still hoping for a text version recipe for the ring. Maybe post it on Facebook. I'll talk to Linda. I know she has the recipe written down. I'll see if she can take the time. Maybe next time I'm home, we'll post it up or something. See what we can do for you. So that was a quick one. Oop. Okay, Scott DTM69 asks. He says, "I know TMC gives you the option to get paid by the load or to get paid by the mile. Do you think it would be around the same amount of pay, or do you think one or the other would pay more?" See, I'm not really sure. I've never been paid by the load. And I've talked to guys that have been paid percentage, and you know, you can lose on the percentage deal. I like to be paid by the mile, and the reason being is I get paid for all my empty and loaded miles. There is no issue. Like for this trip, for example, if I were being paid by the load, I would have came all the way down here, the empty miles, 150 some odd miles to come here, just to get here to find out they double dispatched the load. So now I drove 153 miles and I'm not getting paid for it if I were being paid by the load. And now I don't know how far I'm going to have to go again empty to get the next load. So usually the loaded miles covers the empty miles, let's say, if you're getting paid by the load. Okay? That's usually how it works, because when the revenue source works out, the company's charged by the loaded mile, but they work in their empty miles in that so that they can cover their empty mile costs. Now, if you're getting paid by the load, it's kind of the same thing. Your load's gonna pay you enough to cover your empty miles, but again, if you get down here and all of a sudden there's no load, now you got to go maybe another 150 miles, and that load is not going to cover the double empty miles, so you could lose. No, I prefer to be paid by the mile, personally, and that's just my opinion. Now, when I first saw this question, I thought it was kind of a silly question, but then I thought of it, and there's a lot of you younger persons, who are not quite of trucking age yet, or, you know, that's what you're thinking about. So I don't know what this age is of this person. Shikardi has asked, what are you doing when you need to go to the bathroom while you drive, or just woke up in the morning? Does truck have bathroom? No, the truck doesn't have a bathroom, although some of these big custom units do. The majority of them don't. Well, we do like most people do. We get up, we go out, we go to the bathroom. Now, the difference is our bathroom isn't just down the hall like it is when you're at home. We're either parked at a rest area or a truck stop, and we have to go inside and go use the restrooms there. Now, it's not what a lot of people think. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, public restrooms, gross. For the most part, there's, you know, you get to know the good ones and the bad ones. There are some still that are pretty gross out there, but you know, there's a lot of these places that they keep their restrooms pretty darn clean, especially some of these newer rest areas and whatnot. They do a really good job of cleanliness. So yeah, you just get used to it. It's just a fact of life. It's trucking, you know. So yeah, we go into the truck stops or the rest areas use the restrooms. Okay, Bodyman72. Instead of Armor All, try a quick interior detail product. Cleans great and doesn't leave it all slick and oily. One example would be Meguiar's Quick Interior Detailer. I have never heard of Meguiar's Quick Interior Detailer. Where do you get it? Bodyman72. How about you shoot us a quick message there, let us know where you can pick it up, what stores and whatnot, and if I'm able to take a look around, or if anyone else has heard of it. I like Armor All. Yeah, I know it leaves it a little oily in some cases. You can get that's the original. There's one that you can get that actually doesn't leave it so oily. It's more of the cleaning wipes, I think. But I don't know, I kind of like that shiny interior look. Smooth. Actually, I'm probably going to switch because the dash has a dull finish anyways, or is supposed to. So I'm going to switch to the, there's the other one there that sort of leaves a dull, like it doesn't leave a dull finish, but it doesn't leave that shiny slickiness look. So that's, but anyways, let us know where that one, where we can get that one. And thanks for the information. Okay, Benjamin LVAD. Jerry, I know that your current truck doesn't have tri-pack, so how do you manage to keep the cooler plugged in all night without getting your battery empty? Plus, it's not winter yet, but how are you going to keep the inside hot idling the engine all night? Question mark. Well, yeah, when you don't have a tri-pack, you got to do some idling for the AC and the heat. Now, our trucks do not idle. They'll automatically shut off after 5 minutes. The override doesn't work. If the temperature is below 20 degrees Celsius, I'm not sure what it is Fahrenheit, or above -8. Now you guys are saying, well, geez, you know, -8 Celsius, that's fairly chilly. Well, we have what's known as an S-bar heater. It's kind of like the Webesso. It works off the batteries. Now you gotta remember, these trucks have 4 batteries in them, right? Okay, guys, so they hold a charge pretty good. You can probably run about 8 hours, 9 hours running the Webesso, but you won't need to run it that long anyways. I'll explain to you in a minute. The cooler doesn't really take much power, so it stays plugged into the DC outlet there all night long. And by the way, this cooler works absolutely awesome. Actually had ice on the bottom of one of my drinks the other day. So it's because it goes by the cab temperature. You know, if you keep it fairly cool in here, then it's gonna run a bit cooler. So, but even when I leave the truck off and it's humid and muggy a little bit there, it actually runs really good. So anyway, back to the subject on hand here. So these S-bar heaters will heat the truck, and I've actually had them before I had a tri-pack years ago. And on the really cold nights, you can probably go about 8 hours running them. I've had them running up to -25, so, and they do just fine keeping the cab warm. So yeah, so that's about it. You know, you do what you do. You idle the truck. I mean, a lot of places don't like it, but you know, and that's. But until they do the full switch over, where all the trucks have the little heating cooling units in them, APU type things, you got to do what you got to do, right? This is what we did before APUs were even invented. So, what can you do, right? Okay, now back to the APU. JPD 1230 says, besides the cost factor you mentioned, for small companies, for big companies which can afford them but still don't use them, it is because apparently when they look at the cost of the APU and install cost versus the cost of idling the truck, idling is cheaper. Why? Because they don't keep their trucks long enough to recoup the cost of the APU. Well, actually, that's not true. An APU on a truck will increase the resale value should they leave it on the truck. Option B is they can remove it and put it on the next unit. These APUs aren't just a 3-year type use deal. And to say that a large company can afford it is not necessarily all that true either. Like I said, $11,000, $10,000 for one of these APU units. There are some cheaper ones out there, but the tri-pack, you know, $10,000, $11,000. If you have a fleet of 4,000 trucks, you do the math, guys. It's a lot of money, okay? And I mean a lot. And to switch over an existing fleet is not economically responsible on their part. There's a lot of these companies, they're switching them as they go. You're seeing more and more companies and trucks with the APUs or different types of APUs. There's that new unit that comes direct from the factory there that's built in, that like Celadon has. I'll do a video and show you one day. Yeah, it's not cost effective for the large companies that are replacing their trucks every 3 to 4 years, okay, to do it midstream. So that's why you're going to see a lot of these trucks without them, these companies not doing it. They're doing it as they replace the trucks, not now. Not all of a sudden, let's go take 4,000 trucks and spend $10,000 a truck to put APUs on for a truck that they may get rid of in a year or two, okay, and replace, and then go through the cost of removing the APU and putting it on the new unit. It's just not cost effective. Okay, guys, gotta use your heads here a little bit. Think these things through before you say it. Okay, think the number of trucks. Okay, small trucks, guys. Also, a lot of these small owner operators, what they're doing, my buddy is doing with his, is he's already replaced one truck. He got an APU put on it. The next truck doesn't have the APU. It's the one that really needs it because his driver really idles. He's going to replace next year when he replaces that truck. So for the smaller guys, it's just easier for them to include it in the financing of a new truck. So anyway, it's a lot of money. Okay, doesn't matter whether you're big or small. Okay, the chess fanatic says that he's contemplating getting into this industry as a career change. The only problem is that my spouse may be dead set against it because I'll be out for 2 to 3 weeks during the month. How now is this what newbies will face being out most of the month? If I do this, I'm thinking about getting on with Schneider, and they have some really nice divisions such as bulk and intermodal. Okay, yeah, your spouse is going to be a big factor, but I mean, if your spouse is going to sit there and tell you, no, I don't want you to do this, then she's also holding herself back, or he, whatever. You know, there are other things than over the road when it comes to truck driving. There are tons of local jobs too for truck driving. Yes, there are long hours involved with local jobs, and they're not always easy. It's P&D work, pick and delivery, you know. Dump trucks, you know, local delivery, you know, you got UPS, you got FedEx. There's a lot of these local companies that do all the grunt work that, you know, need drivers also. So maybe that would be a good thing to start off with and get your experience too. And break your spouse in slowly to the trucking industry, and, you know, how good you can have it. So, or find something. There are jobs out there that you can find that aren't quite local, but at the same token, kind of like what Nick had there, where you go out and you're gone one night and you come home. So you're home like almost pretty much every second night. So, you know, there's those kind of jobs too. So anyways, you got to look. So I recommend it. I mean, it's a good job, guys, but it's got to be in your blood too. Remember that, eh? It may not be for everybody. Okay, Brian Conover asks, how long have you been in prison? I guess he's referring, because it was on the inside tour of my truck sleeper, my original one. It's not a prison. It's my bachelor pad. Get it right, dude. Like, come on. This is my doghouse. You know, everyone says, oh, you're in trouble with the wife. She's going to send you the doghouse. Well, you know what? My wife can send me to my doghouse. My doghouse has color television, has AC, has heat, has satellite radio. I've got internet when I'm near Wi-Fi. I used to have internet all the time, but I got rid of that service. It's too expensive. But yeah, my doghouse is pretty damn comfortable. So yeah, it's not a prison. This is way more comfortable. Prisoners don't have windows like I do. A solar mechanic asks, and I get asked this a lot, and I keep having to say the same thing, and this is a little bit of an unfair question from you guys, but I'm going to do it again anyways. Where are the best schools to go to learn how to drive? You know what, guys, this is, you know, from one end of the country to the other, from, you know, US to Canada, there's just so many and so many different ones. You know, you really have to do your research. You have to call around. You have to find out how many hours in class, how many hours, you know, behind the wheel. You know, what is their course curriculum? How long does it take? You know, there's just so many choices. Guys, stop asking me this. I really can't give you an appropriate answer. I haven't been to trucking school in over 25 years, okay? So I have no idea what is good and what isn't good. You have to make that decision for yourself. Don't expect me to make, to do your homework for you. I'm not going to. You guys really have to do your own homework and research. I will give one recommendation, and because a lot of guys, they can't afford this, some of the private schools type thing. Try your community colleges. A lot of them are now offering truck driver training. It's done over a longer period, so you probably have a little bit more benefit because you can do it while still working. Okay, you can do it nights and weekends. Therefore, you're not having to quit your job to do this. Other than that, I cannot give you any information on any schools because it would be unfair for me to only pick the schools that are in my area, because they're the only ones that I'll know of. So do your homework, guys, please. Oh, and if you're really not sure about a school in your area, Google it. There's always reviews. YouTube it. There's always reviews. People do reviews all the time, okay? Okay, the Flying Texan asks, because I'm Canadian... Oh, I got a bobo here. Oh, it hurts. I scratched it. It hurts. Ow. Ow! Okay. Jerry, you were in Lancaster, PA, about 20 minutes from my home. Next time lunch is on me. Woohoo! By the way, since you are Canadian, do you also speak French? No. I can say a few swear words, which I won't do on camera. My wife understands it, can do a little bit better than me. My daughter speaks French. We sent her to French immersion because it's really good for, jobs and whatnot. But no, I don't speak French. Me no parlez-vous français. That's about the extent of it. Other than the swear words. Okay, Colby Mack asks, hey Jerry, what kind of power does your ProStar have? And I think it's an 18 speed, right? Nope, it's a 10. Yep, it's sucky 10, but it actually does pretty good. The splitter you saw is just for the lower to upper. It's not for the extra gears there for the overdrive. So yeah, it's only a 10, and it's got a Cummins in it. I think it's an N14, but I'm not 100% sure. I will check at some point, and I'll get back to you. Alrighty guys, so we'll wrap it up for this version of Truckers Talk, Truckers Talk, Q&A. Get with it, Jerry. Okay, so that's it for this week's Q&A. Keep the questions coming, and I will keep trying to answer them. Alrighty, be good.